This first reading comes from Deuteronomy 24, verses 14 and 15, and 17 through 22. You shall not withhold the wages of poor and needy laborers, whether they are other Israelites or aliens who reside in your land, in one of your towns. You shall pay them their wages daily before sunset, because they are poor, and their livelihood depends on them. Otherwise, they might cry to the Lord against you, and you will incur guilt. You shall not deprive a resident alien or orphan of justice. You shall not take a widow's garment in pledge. Remember that you were a slave in Egypt, and the Lord your God redeemed you from there. Therefore, I command you to do this. When you reap your harvest in your field, and forget a sheep in the field, do not go back to get it. It shall be left for the alien, the orphan, and the widow, so that the Lord your God may bless you in all your undertakings. When you beat your olive trees, do not strip them of what is left. It shall be for the alien, the orphan, and the widow. When you gather the grapes of your vineyard, do not glean what is left. It shall be for the alien, the orphan, and the widow. Remember, you were a slave in the land of Egypt. Therefore, I am commanding you to do this. The second reading is from Luke 3:11. In reply, he said to them, whoever has 2 coats must share with anyone who has none, and whoever has food must do likewise. This is the word of God.
God is still speaking. Thanks be to God. It is hard for us to understand the turmoil and violence of sinful America. Let us pray. A wondrous God of love, who gives and cares and shows mercy, who fights for justice and saves the oppressed, come to us and let us hear your voice, feel your presence, know your will. Bless the speaking, the hearing, and the living of your holy word. Amen. Her face was distraught, her eyes vacant. She was rocking back and forth in the cheap chair against the wall, clutching a thin blue jacket with white stripes. A pastor kneels, looks into her distant eyes, and asks her what her name is in Spanish. She doesn't respond. She clutches the jacket even tighter, holding it to her chest. Is there a bit of defiance in those eyes? The pastor tells her in her native language, you do not need to be afraid. I am a pastor, a Christian. I will help you if I can. Her eyes look at him intently for a moment, as if she is trying to decide if he is speaking the truth. Perhaps she believes him. Perhaps she notices his calm, assuring presence. Perhaps she is simply desperate for hope in a world of death and despair. I'm scared for my son, she says. I don't want to lose him. He's all I have. Is that his jacket that you are holding? No, this belongs. Her voice cracks, but she continues with a bit more resolve. Belonged to Juan, my oldest son. It's all I have of him. After this, pastor spends more time with her asking a few questions, but nothing too deep. She begins to relax. He gets her something to drink, and she tells her story. She was living in Honduras with her 2 sons, Luis, who is 9, and Juan, 12. The drug cartel was beginning to harass her older son about joining the gang, but he didn't want to get into that kind of life. His mom agreed, tried to encourage his resolve because she knows that kind of life is wrong. But the drug cartel persists. Juan just needs to deliver packages. That's it. Easy, really. He says no. And over the next 3 weeks, threats are made. He's pushed around. But he remains adamant that he will not join the gang. One day, her older son goes out, and his mother realizes that he's out later than he should. She goes outside her front door to see if she can see anything, and that's where she finds him. Her 12-year-old boy, cut up in pieces and strewn across the front yard. She didn't wait a moment. In 15 minutes, she was out the door with her youngest son, now her only son, and heading for the border. She doesn't want what happened to Juan to happen to Louise. Wouldn't you do the same? Refugees who are coming to our border are not drug dealers or rapists or nefarious criminals. They are moms with kids fleeing a horrific, violent life that we can scarcely comprehend. When we went to the border, we wanted to see for ourselves what was going on. Now, I know there is wide disagreement about what we should do. This is a complex problem. But still, what I saw is not sustainable. It is broken, and something must be done. By both international and U.S. law, refugees who are fleeing violence and have a fear of persecution because of race or religion or nationality or because they're a member of a particular social group or have a certain political opinion, those 5 categories, they have the basic humanitarian right to seek asylum. So I want to make that clear. They have a legal right to be in this country seeking asylum. And thank God for that. But because of the chaos, the political instability, and the violence of Central America, there is a tidal wave of refugees who are fleeing for their lives, and it is overwhelming the system. Fear is rampant. Current U.S. policy is not meeting the challenge. It often exacerbates the problem. First of all, these people are not criminals, but they are treated as such. With limited space in the detention centers, they limit the number which can legally come through the ports of entry. We saw the tents. We saw the lines of people, some who have been there over a month waiting. They have no food. They have no shelter. They depend upon the kindness of others. At the first bridge, there were 377 people waiting to enter. They had taken only 6 the day before. On some days, they don't take any. At some gates, the only way that you can get through is by paying exorbitant bribes to either the drug cartels who are controlling the gate or corrupt guards. There's little to no communication between the U.S. government and Mexico to help with this process. If you are seeking asylum, the border agents give you a credible fear assessment to see if you have a case. Now, most do. It's not that hard to pass that first initial test. And then they have to find a sponsor that will let them live with them until they have their day in court. It's usually a family member, and this family member has to assume financial responsibility for, what is it, Darren, up to 10 years? So it is not an easy thing to do. And then we learned also that in some of these detention centers, even though they have that, they have to pay a fine to get out. And this one charges as much as $5,000 to leave the detention center, or they just sit there. Now, after the refugees are released, at least in Brownsville where we were, ICE drops them off at the Catholic Charities Respite Center, which we visited. It's located in an old nursing home. It is so old and outdated that on that very first day that they moved there, all toilet stopped working, and they had to board up the bathrooms. Thankfully, the Salvation Army came in. They donated a trailer with bathrooms and showers, but there were people everywhere at this place, mostly young families. When the bus drops them off, the first thing they have to do is give them shoelaces. That's right, because in the detention center, they took all their shoelaces away. It's a suicide risk. Standard prison policy. After orientation, the volunteers help them contact their sponsor and arrange travel, usually by bus. But the refugees have to wait until that all gets lined up, which means they have to stay there a day or two. Each room had 6 to 8 occupants, I would say. Some sleeping on blue mats, sort of the kind used at a school for gymnastics. And remember, this is a nursing home, and these rooms were created to have 1 or 2 occupants, and they were smaller than the nursing homes I've seen today. There was no order to it. There was no assigned rooms. People found a room where they could. And by the way, Texans, there was no AC either. And yet, amidst the sea of bodies, folks lining the walls, sitting on the floor, kids playing outside, some in line to use the bathroom or the shower or to get clothes or to get food, I did see a few signs of hope upon their faces. Certainly they were tired, the kind of weariness that goes to the soul. Some still had that harried, anxious look in their eyes. But also, they were now out of the detention center. They were waiting for the bus that would take them to their loved one. They had their chance to live in America. Unfortunately, though there may be hope in their eyes, we were told that statistically, 80% will have their asylum claim rejected and will be deported. Now, and only 20% make it. Now, that number really varies greatly depending on where they go to immigration court and which judge you find yourself before. Even so, while I was helping out in the kitchen area, giving folks their bowl of chicken soup, a single corn tortilla, and a Dixie cup of water, I witnessed the kingdom of God. 3 girls, all probably younger than Aaron is, came in. One was a bit bossy, I remember that. Although I couldn't tell exactly what they were saying, I don't know Spanish. The other 2 had found this old piece of broken off plywood, probably about 10 by 20 inches. And they put it on top of the trash can, and then all 3 of them began filling these cups of water and lining them up. When they had about 20, 2 of the girls, they each took a side of their tray and carefully carried it out to share with their friends. Here these girls were in desperate situations. Their families going through an ordeal we can scarcely comprehend. And yet they still thought of others. Water may be a precious commodity. There was enough to share. My friends, there is enough to share. These folks are not criminals. They are fleeing for their lives. And Jesus tells us we must be a good neighbor. Thanks be to God. Amen.